On January 20, 2025, Donald J. Trump returned to the White House. He reclaimed the presidency, vowing to restore America's strength. His return was met with cheers and trepidation. Trump wasted no time making his presence felt. He assembled a cabinet reflecting his ideology. Familiar faces like Marco Rubio and Pam Bondi returned, joined by controversial figures like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Pete Hegseth. This mix signaled Trump's audacious governance. The world watched as Trump stepped back into the spotlight. His every move was scrutinized. The stakes were higher, the scrutiny more intense. A whirlwind of executive orders and policy reversals followed. Trump was back, determined to make up for lost time. One of Trump's first acts upon returning to office was to target diversity, equity, and inclusion or DEI programs. He viewed these initiatives, designed to promote fairness and representation, as divisive and antithetical to his vision of a colorblind society. With the stroke of a pen, he signed a series of executive orders aimed at dismantling these programs within the federal government. The orders sent shockwaves through the nation. They mandated a review of all federal training programs, prohibiting those deemed to promote critical race theory or divisive concepts. Federal agencies were instructed to halt funding for any programs deemed to advance these ideologies. Critics argued that the orders were thinly veiled attempts to stifle discussions about race and inequality. They warned of a chilling effect on free speech and academic freedom. Legal challenges were swiftly mounted, alleging that the orders violated First Amendment rights and exceeded presidential authority. The battle over DEI quickly became a proxy war for the soul of America. On one side stood those who believed that the country needed to confront its history of racism and inequality. On the other, those who saw these efforts as a threat to national unity and a betrayal of traditional values. The courts, once again, were tasked with navigating this treacherous terrain. Trump's disdain for multilateral trade agreements and his belief in protectionist policies were no secret. He had made his views abundantly clear during his first term, engaging in trade disputes with China and other trading partners. His return to the White House signaled a resurgence of these economic battles. Tariffs, once again, became a weapon of choice. Trump imposed new levies on goods imported from China, reigniting a trade war that had roiled global markets during his first presidency. He argued that these tariffs were necessary to protect American jobs and intellectual property. However, the economic consequences were far-reaching. American businesses faced higher costs, consumers paid more for goods, and the global trading system was thrown into disarray. The tariffs, while providing temporary relief to some industries, also led to job losses in others. Trump's trade policies remained a subject of intense debate. Supporters praised his willingness to stand up to China and renegotiate trade deals that they viewed as unfair. Critics, however, argued that his tactics were counterproductive, harming American businesses and consumers in the process. The trade war, like many of Trump's policies, left a legacy of uncertainty and division. Section 4. The FCC under fire deregulation and its discontents. The Federal Communications Commission found itself squarely in Trump's crosshairs upon his return to power. Trump, a frequent critic of what he perceived as media bias, had long sought to reshape the regulatory landscape governing the internet and telecommunications. His second term provided an opportunity to enact his vision. Trump appointed a series of loyalists to the FCC, individuals who shared his deregulatory zeal. Net neutrality, a signature achievement of the Obama era that ensured a free and open internet, became a prime target. The FCC, under Trump's direction, voted to repeal net neutrality rules, arguing that they stifled innovation and investment. Internet service providers celebrated the move, which granted them greater control over internet traffic. However, consumer advocacy groups and tech companies warned of a future where ISPs could create fast lanes for favored content, potentially stifling competition and free speech online. The FCC's actions under Trump sparked a fierce debate about the role of government in regulating the internet. Proponents of deregulation argued that it would unleash innovation and lower costs. Opponents warned of a future where a handful of powerful corporations controlled access to information and stifled competition. The battle over the internet's future, much like the broader political landscape, remained deeply polarized. Section 5. A legacy of disruption, Trump's enduring impact. Donald Trump's presidency was a period of profound disruption and division. His policies touched every aspect of American life. From the economy to healthcare to the environment, Trump left an indelible mark. His supporters saw him as a fearless leader. His detractors viewed him as a demagogue. Trump's legacy is complex and contested. He presided over economic growth but exacerbated inequality. He appointed 2 conservative justices, shifting the court's balance. His rhetoric inflamed tensions and eroded America's standing. Historians and citizens will grapple with his impact. Trump's legacy of disruption will shape American politics for decades.